Hello and welcome to Tapped Out Interviews. I'm your host, Louis Carlin, and we are part of the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. And you can follow me on Twitter at Tapped Out Louis. That's Louis, Lewis. And very excited today. We have a very, very special guest today. He is the owner and commissioner of Seaway Valley Wrestling. Very happy to welcome today Allaire. Allaire, welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. My pleasure. Right off the bat, I wanted to ask you because I'm very curious, and people out there might want to know. On January 5th, you put out a post that you wanted Will Ospreay to get a hold of you. Is anything happening there?
Right.
Anything happening there with Will Ospreay? Are we going to see him in Seaway Valley Wrestling?
Well, that's something that I can't expose any of my secrets here.
Okay.
But that was just a feeler. I was hoping that, hopefully he sees that and he bites and he's interested to come down for Seaway Valley Wrestling. We're looking to make an impact here in Canada and to show the rest of the world that the independent pro wrestling scene in Canada is as I would call it, the hidden gem of pro wrestling.
Well, I have to agree with you there, man. There's a lot of promotions going on right now, and I'm going to ask you about a ton of them. I'm going to ask you about a few of them a little later on, get your opinions on them. But I'm interested right now in Seaway Valley Wrestling. So tell me, how did it all begin for Seaway Valley Wrestling? Because I know your debut show was October 20th. So how did it all begin? Tell me about the origins of Seaway Valley Wrestling.
Oh boy, that's a big story. Now, the origins of Seaway Valley Wrestling, it started like many years ago whenever I was the young fan sitting in the seats going to the shows here in Cornwall as a fan. And, many shows that we'd go to, like, the crowd would be there, but it almost felt like there was no effort put into the shows. And almost, you know what I mean? Like, it almost felt like a money grab. And then, like, for quite a while too, the promotions here in Cornwall did not do some very nice things to the public. It developed a really nasty stigma.
Okay.
That because there's at least a good 3 or 4 promotions where they didn't do it the right way, as they would say. I don't want to downplay any of them. They all worked hard. It's a lot of work putting in making a promotion. I understand that, but they screwed the city. And for about 3 years, there was no pro wrestling in Cornwall, and people in the pro wrestling circuit were saying that Cornwall was dead for wrestling. There'll never be another show. They've been screwed too many times. Nobody trusts anybody. The wrestlers don't even trust to come down to the city, and they've just been screwed too many times. So, me and my business partner, Ryan, we felt that, if we were going to start a pro wrestling promotion, that we'd have to let it sit for a few years, let it get swept under the rug, as they would say.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, bam, hit them back, right in the face with pro wrestling's coming back to Cornwall just when people thought it was dead.
Yeah, well, you got, I know the October 20th show, you sold out. I was reading it, about 450 people there.
Right.
That must have been a great accomplishment. So what was it like? Tell me about putting that first show together. How difficult was it? I know you had to find the talent, but take me through putting that first show together.
Like I said, like in the past, like the promoters and the promotions really put us behind the 8 ball. So it took a lot of work for us and like a lot of talking and convincing and proving to them that, we are the real deal and we are not those guys. We are, hardcore pro wrestling fans who love it just as much as they do. And that's why we're all in it together. And this is going to be something that, we've been planning for over a year now. It's not like we just like, hey, let's start a wrestling promotion and we put it together. Like we sat back for about a year. We helped out with promotions, with setup, tear down, and watched them put the shows together, watch how it unfolded. We'd go to shows with our little notepad and we'd take notes, what worked, what didn't work, even like what the people were buying at the concession stands, like we we did our homework when we put Seaway Valley Wrestling together, and we feel that it shows at our show because we bring it.
Well, yeah, I was reading about the first press conference. It looked like you got a bit crazy there with Big Daddy D. Roy and Ray St. Jean. Looks like they had a bit of a confrontation there. It looked like you got a little hot and heavy during that first press conference.
Yeah, well, the press conference really set the tone for Seaway Valley Wrestling because there wasn't, there's not too many promotions that put together press conferences like that, and we felt that if we can knock this press conference out of the park, people will really take pro wrestling in Cornwall serious. They won't look at it as like, what the hell are these guys doing in Cornwall?
Yeah. So you're the boss basically. So is there any pressure? Do you feel any pressure that you're the guy in charge, or how does it feel?
Oh yeah. Tons of pressure. Because when we started telling some of our friends, family, and people about it, people, they're like, "Oh my God, are you guys sure about this?" That's a big thing to take on, especially pro wrestling in Cornwall. And me and my partner Ryan are like, "Yeah, we're going for it." And we feel that with our passion, our vision, and our drive for success, that we have something here. Because the promotions that were in town before were drawing like 250 people, and they were just putting flyers on street posts. I'm like, how are you still drawing 250 people without any effort?
Yeah,
that's a pro wrestling city. So if you could take that 250 people, then you put out promos, you put in a little effort, you give them material, you can take that 250 and turn it into 450, not a problem.
No, I mean, like I said, you sold out the first show, 450 people, and you had to be pleased with the outcome of the first show, because you had it was I think you had Evil Uno against Stu Grayson, I believe, was on that show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Evil Grayson. We had a fatal 4-way with Ryan Donovan, Dino Benjamin, Johnny Irvine, and Matt Angel, and that was actually the first match of the night, and it really set the tone for the night.
It set the tone, and it set the tone actually for February 9th, which is coming up. You have a huge show coming up, some absolutely phenomenal matches. I'm just going to read a few of them. It's just, one match is unbelievable. Sheldon Jean against Josh Alexander, Stu Grayson against Mark Wheeler, Vaughn Vertigo, Evil Uno, one of my absolute favorites, Kobe Christ against Ryan Donovan, Jody Threat against Alexia Nicole. You've put together one hell of a card there. You got to be proud of
Thank
that,
you.
man.
Well, I'm super proud. It's a lot of work, and I did my homework, and I think February 9th is really going to put Seaway Valley Wrestling on the map, and people are really going to take us pretty serious after this.
I'm taking you seriously already, and I'm sure they are with this card that's coming up. But I've always wondered, what's the thought process of booking matches? I mean, you're able to get this pool of talent. Do you sit down, you try to match them up, or how does that work? How does that work?
I go to a lot of shows and I watch absolutely a lot of stuff online. It's incredible the amount of wrestling I watch, and I'm not talking WWE here. I'm watching everything in Canada, anything that any talent that I can get my hands on. And then I'll sit there and there's certain guys that you like to see because they're just absolutely talented. And you got guys like Josh Alexander. And then, you got a guy that sky's the limit with this guy. You know what I mean? Fantastic talent. And then I go to a C4 show and I meet Sheldon Jean. Then I see him wrestle 3 or 4, and then I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? Sheldon Jean versus Josh Alexander would really turn some heads.
Absolutely.
It's a matchup that hasn't been seen before. It's Sheldon Jean's looking to make a name for himself, and Josh wants to take on the best of what Canada has to offer him, because he's been knocking them all down one by one.
Yeah, then I'm going to curse here, but when I saw that match, I was like, holy shit, Sheldon Jean against Josh Alexander. I mean, I've met both of them. I'm big fans of both of them as well. They actually both were on the show, and that's going to be, I'm saying that's going to be a match of the year candidate without a doubt. I wish I wasn't 8 hours away. I wish I could come see it, but that match is going to be absolutely phenomenal, as the other matches are. I mean, yeah. I mean, even Big Daddy D. Roy and Ray St. Jean, champion versus champion, Cornwall street fight. They came nose to nose on Cornwall TV recently. They got a feud going on. Tell me a little bit about that and what we could expect in the street fight.
Oh boy, the street fight, like that's going to be incredible too. And the thing with the street fight is it all boils down from the press conference. These guys have been at each other now for, 6 months and just nonstop. And every time D-Roy's got a chance to speak, it just seems to be Ray and Randy showing up and starting an altercation. And like he's just fed up. And on February 9th, he finally gets to get his hands on Ray St. Jean once more. And this time's for the OWA championship.
Okay.
D-Roy defended his big-time pro wrestling championship at the first show. It's just suiting Ray, puts up his this time. And in the Cornwall street fight, no DQ, no rules. So these guys they're going to fight all over that place and really put on a show.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I think I was pronouncing his name wrong. I was saying Ray St. Jean. It's Ray St. Jean. I apologize to him. I apologize to him if he's listening. So I pronounced his name wrong. But
yeah, everybody's been mispronouncing his name. The newspapers here in the city were calling him Rick. So and then he started getting on and kind of a few of promos. They're like, "Who the hell is Rick?" And then, sure enough, some of the fans brought Rick signs. There was probably 50 Rick signs, and he had him and Randy were ripping them all. It was a good time.
Yeah, Jody Threat, another one of my favorites. She's going one-on-one with Alexia Nicole. That's going to be another. You got one hell of a freaking. I might drive the 8 hours to come out there, man. You got one hell of a.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it.
I might fly. I'm here in Windsor. I could get on Porter and probably fly out.
Hey,
there. Fly out.
We're smack dab between Ottawa and Montreal. We're not hard to get to.
Yeah, no. That's another. Also, Evil Uno against Vaughn Vertigo. I mean, that's going to be another fantastic. Stu Grayson, Mark Wheeler. There are other matches too. Maybe you want to just fill us in on the other matches that are taking place.
There's also a 8-man tag match, and in this 8-man tag match, what makes it very interesting is some of these guys are like 20 years old. Like these guys are hungry, and you'll learn like as you go to shows and you put on shows, you meet these guys, and like the young, hungry guys are the ones that are going to go out there balls to the wall and put on a freaking show for you.
Oh yeah.
So I put like 8 of these guys with a couple veterans in there. Like these guys are just going to put on a show, and it's going to be a train wreck for however long those guys are going to crash and bang in there, because that's going to be awesome to see.
Now let's talk about Covey Christ, because I've been a Covey Christ fan. I first saw him on Wrestle Center TV, and I was a fan ever since. How did you? I know he's out in the Maritimes. How did you discover him and want to bring him to? Go ahead.
Like I said, I watched tons of wrestling from the East Coast all the way to like the Vancouver, and even like they got quite the wrestling scene down there too. Right. So Covey Christ, what people don't know is I tried to get him on our October show, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out. Okay. So I told her, we're coming back in February, and if I could find, the perfect matchup for you, we'll make it work. And, he's been, just waiting and foaming at the mouth for somebody. And you saw Ryan Donovan was looking for an opponent, and, he called in on the podcast, and the rest is history. You have to go check it out on our Facebook page, because like that's going to be one hell of a match, because their feud has been going off on quite the right foot here. It's fantastic promo work too.
Oh, I tell you, Covey Christ can cut a freaking phenomenal promo. I know he cut a promo on Ryan Donovan, and I did listen to that. So if you're listening and you haven't listened to Kobe Christ calling in, you got to listen to it. It's fantastic. He calls in, he puts down Ryan Donovan, and it's if there's one match that I'm looking forward to the most, it's Kobe Christ's work here, and its match has turned into a bit of a grudge match, and I think it's going to be a fantastic match as well. He's done such a tremendous job in selling that match, and Ryan Donovan, I know, is a terrific up and comer.
And like that's just the beginning. He sent out an actual promo video of his fight camp, and he left his retreats, and and blah blah blah, and like it's like this guy's good. He's good. He's one of the best in Canada, and like I've been talking to him for a long time now, and we're super excited to have him down at Seaway Valley Wrestling, because the show in February, I reached out and I went out, and we meant business when we went out and got probably some of the best guys in this country, and Cornwall better hold on to their seats because they don't know what they're in for.
Well, I have you on the line right now, so I'm going to ask you, please, can you eventually give us Kobe Christ versus Evil Uno? That's the match I want to see.
Yeah, that'd be, what, like, that is very intriguing, as you would say, but Kobe's definitely going to be a player for Seaway Valley Wrestling, so we'll see what happens after February 9th, and we'll go from there. But Kobe's definitely one of the best in this country, and we're excited to have him.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Now, there was a video of a mystery wrestler who's going to be coming on February 9th. I have no idea who it is, but you want to maybe give us a little drop in or two, or what that might be?
I have no idea either. Somehow, some way that got onto our social media, and we haven't been able to delete it, and we don't know what's going on here.
That couldn't be Will Ospreay by chance, could it?
Hey, you never know.
You never know. It could be Will Ospreay.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Maybe we'll get some.
All right. So how many fans do you think you're going to be expecting for the show? Is it the same venue?
Same venue, same setup. We put a little more. I won't say a little more. We'll say I put a lot more production into this show. We got like I said, like we got promo videos coming out. We got tons of material. We're building a show out of this. This is not just going to be guys coming through a curtain. We did our homework for over a year putting these shows together. We, like this is, we're looking to make a stand here and say that, Cornwall is a pro wrestling city. And, if we're going to probably put another 450 people in there, pack it, and then slap them in the face with Canada's best,
That's a very good way.
It's going to be insane.
That's a very good way of putting it, man. Slap them in the face with I can't say enough. It's going to be a tremendous, tremendous show.
It's like this is our second show, because the people who doubted us the first show and laughed, let's go see what this is going to be all about, because it was always, I don't want to say it, but it was always a shit show. So they were expecting another shit show, and we hit them up with a legitimate pro wrestling show. And then now our February show, we felt like the people that are going to be, let's go see what all the hype is about. Let's go see what this is about. They're going to go and sit down and they're going to be like, holy shit, that Sheldon, Gene, and Josh Alexander can go. Holy shit. Von Vertigo and Uno can go. Holy shit. Yeah. Stu Grayson and Mark Mueller can go. Holy shit, those girls can go. So we're really excited for February.
Yeah, no. Are there going to be meet and greets as well prior to the show?
We haven't announced it yet, but there's going to be a meet and greet, so stay tuned for that. It's definitely in the works.
Oh, and you got Vanessa Craven is going to be there not wrestling, but she's making an appearance there as well. Is that correct?
Right. Well, there you go. There's going to be our meet. Our meet and greet. Like we're going to be announcing it soon with some details, and we're excited to have her. Unfortunately, the injuries happen in this industry, but we're still definitely going to show her the love and support Vanessa Craven, because she's definitely one of this country's best female talent, and if not in the world.
No, absolutely, and I'm a big fan of Vanessa Craven, and I hope she recovers soon and she's back in the ring soon.
Yeah, she's a super talent and like class act too. She's phenomenal.
Absolutely, I agree with you there 100%. Now, like I said, I live in Windsor. 8-hour and change drive. I know I spoke to you about this maybe a week ago or so, but was hoping that maybe we could see Seaway Valley Wrestling on Powerbomb TV. I think it's Independent Wrestling right now, TV it's called. But can that be happening anytime soon?
Right, that's our goal, right? Like this is our second show, and we want to prove to the Powerbomb TV, Fight TV, all these internet streaming things that they're eventually going to carry our shows, and we're like I said, we're super excited about this in February, and I think that's going to be our foot in the door into getting our shows put on the Powerbomb TV for our fans that are 8 hours away or plus. So we're super excited. It's a process, as they would say.
Yeah, no, even if you get like an iPay-per-view on Fight or something, I'd pay. I mean, if this was on Fight, right, I'd pay the $24.99 to watch this card. But yeah,
well,
I would love to see it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But like, I'm going to take a road trip. I'm going on a few road trips in the summer, to a few promotions. I think I'm putting Seaway Valley Wrestling on my list. So I'll be there. I'll be there in 2019. You have my word on that. I'll drive out.
Yeah, well, April 20th is our following show after February, and it's another one we've been working really hard on, and you're not going to want to miss this one.
Okay. No, I could be there. I guess you wouldn't have any matches yet ready for that show.
No. Our focus is on February 9th, and then once we see who wins and loses some of those matches and how that transpires, like we are going to be unveiling the Seaway Valley Wrestling Championship, like most likely around our fourth show, right? So we want to see, as Vince McMahon said it, we want to see who's going to reach out and grab that brass ring. We want to see who's going to step up and put on a show for our fans and really show us that they belong in Seaway Valley Wrestling, and they want to help us succeed and get to that next level.
Yeah, you've answered my next question. I was going to ask, are there going to be any Seaway Valley Wrestling championships? So there'll be a champion. Is it going to be a women's title? Are there going to be tag team titles?
Our first title we're doing is the men's championship belt, and then we are going to do the women's and the tag.
All right. Awesome, and who knows? We might be seeing Will Ospreay there. He might be the guy in that.
Like he's definitely on my radar. There's so many guys. Like there's Teddy Hart. Like these guys. There's so much talent out there. There's so much talent in this country. Like I wish I could book like everybody. Like there's so many good. Like it's so hard. It's so hard to like. I want to book everybody, make it like every match a 6-man scramble and just go nuts, but you can't do that. There's a process, and we got a vision, and we're going for it.
Now you mentioned Teddy Hart, and we mentioned Will Ospreay. Anybody else that's on your radar? I mean, Aiden Prince out here. If you get Aiden Prince is phenomenal. Aiden Prince is fantastic.
It's the talent pool in Canada is absolutely deep. Like you said, like there's Aiden Prince, there's there's so many. I'm drawing a blank. We'll put it that way. But like the shows that Destiny puts on, the shows that IWS puts on, the shows that Smash Wrestling put on, the shows that C4 put on, Let Zero Set put on, the shows that UCW, NSPW put on. You got to look at all those guys that are wrestling on every one of those shows, and every single one of those guys can really put on a show. So you go to a show in Canada, you're not getting steered in the wrong direction in the world of pro wrestling. You're going to get a show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to next week. I'm going to PWA main event. Josh Alexander against El Reverso. That's another guy you could possibly bring.
Yeah,
He's another great guy, El Reverso.
El Reverso. I've seen some of his stuff. I actually just seen him against Brian Cage. Was another one I just seen him against.
Okay.
Like I said, like I watch a lot of wrestling, and sometimes it's just like my brain hurts at the end of the night. It's like my brain took some body slams. I watch so much wrestling. But I love it, and our goal in Seaway Valley Wrestling is to put on the best shows and shows that make sense. Like we want to put on matchups that make sense.
All right, no, fair enough, man, and you're doing a great job so far. So how long have you been a professional wrestling fan? Because you mentioned that you watch it all the time. I'm on Powerbomb TV constantly as well. I love watching independent wrestling. So how long have you been a fan of pro wrestling?
Well, I can say my whole life. It started really young, right? And but I think in like 1992. The Royal Rumble, when Ric Flair won the Royal Rumble and cut that promo at the end, was when it really grasped me. You know what I mean? I realized that pro wrestling was more than just wrestling.
Okay. Well,
after that promo, Ric Flair made me like the bad guys. Like my whole life after that, I always liked bad guy.
Well, yeah, I might be a little older than you. I became a fan in 1978. My grandfather introduced me to some guy named Bruno Sammartino. I'm sure.
All right, yeah.
And from there, Bruno got me. I became a fan because of Bruno. And again, the bad guys, Roddy Piper in WWF in the early 80s, Piper's Pit. Nobody was better than Roddy Piper, and absolutely love Roddy Piper.
Yeah. Piper was definitely one of a kind, and like you said, there's nobody who's better than Piper's Pit. There hasn't been a segment better than that.
No, they've tried, but Piper's Pit is the original and the best. They can never. You got Chris Jericho doing stuff, but nothing's ever as good as Piper's Pit. So, if you could put together a dream match for Seaway Valley Wrestling. What would be that dream match? Or if you have five dream matches, if you can't just pick one.
Oh, geez. I would like to see Will Ospreay versus Teddy Hart.
Wow, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah, I like that. That'd be really cool to see. I'd like to see Marco Stunt versus Speedball Bailey. Wow. I'd like to see Super Smash Brothers against the Lucha Brothers. Like there's so much. Like then I'd put a crazy match with like Von Vertigo, Aiden Prince, all those good, Frank Milano, the guys that fly around that ring and just put on a show. Like there's like you're getting me all excited here. There,
yeah. No, I'm getting excited too, man. You've just mentioned a number of absolutely phenomenal dream matches there.
Yeah, there's so many times like there's people that like they're always fly under the radar. Like there's the James Stones, the the TDT Tabernacle Team.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so much talent that there. Dino Benjamin is really good. We got a young tag team, Double Dragon. They're really good. They're super young. There's just something about them. Ryan Donovan's really good. But like if you're saying dream matches where I really Ospreay and Teddy Hart would definitely be one of those ones I'd like to pull off, but that'd be pretty difficult.
That'll be fantastic. What about Brian Pillman Jr.? That's another guy he's gonna be a mega.
Yeah, like there's like I said, like the MLW shows that they put on too are fantastic. Like the world of pro wrestling is just phenomenal right now.
Yeah. So All Elite Wrestling, what's your thought on that? And do you think the WWE has to worry about All Elite Wrestling?
All Elite Wrestling, I won't say like they won't have to worry about them for years to come, but if there's potential anywhere, it's definitely with All Elite Wrestling. You know, like they got some good guys put behind the orchestrating the. You know, they don't have Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall running the show, right? So,
yep.
Hopefully they don't go balls to the wall and try to take down the monster in Vince McMahon right away. You know, you got to build that for quite a few years before you.
Yeah, they got a couple of smart people in charge. I think they'll be.
Well, you know, yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're going to be just fine. It's good for pro wrestling fans because it's just more wrestling that's going to be on TV, right? It gives them, you know, hopefully some of my friends in the Canadian circuit some big paydays, and they go down there and put on shows because they'd be stupid not to dip into the talent in Canada. I know if I was behind All Elite Wrestling in Canada, it would definitely be the first stop.
Absolutely, and I forgot one name. I'm sorry. I'm throwing names. I'm going to throw one more name out that I think would be fantastic at Seaway Valley. Kobe Durst. Kobe Durst is going to be a superstar.
Like I've had numerous conversations with Kobe. Like, I've talked to him at the C4 shows, and like he's a super good dude. And it's just you know, sometimes timing isn't our friend, right? So sometimes when I approach these guys, hey, you're looking to take on a great challenger, and you know, right now Kobe's doing good down in the stateside, so he's pretty busy. Yeah, he's pretty busy right now.
Yeah, and you recently added my buddy Dr. Bob to the media team.
Yes, Dr. Bob.
Is he going to be on commentary? Is he doing any commentary, or what's his role?
Dr. Bob is the most underrated guy in the commentating wrestling aspect of independent around here. Dr. Bob to us is going to be our Jim Ross. Our commentary team is very young and like green. Our interviewer Chelsea is very green. Like Dr. Bob coming into our team is going to bring them, like our commentary team, to a whole new level. Dr. Bob's going to bring Chelsea to a whole new level, and having Dr. Bob on our team is absolutely fantastic for Seaway Valley Wrestling because there's nobody better in my opinion right now.
No, he's fantastic. He does a tremendous job at C4. He's a great get. Very very happy. He's a good guy. He's been on. I haven't interviewed.
He's got the knowledge, and like he's definitely gonna like improve our direction and our team tenfold. Like it's fantastic. We're super happy to have him.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So who would you say, I know this is your second show coming up February 9th, but is there a face of Seaway Valley Wrestling yet or not quite?
What do you mean, like a number one?
Like John Cena's the face of WWE. Is there a face of,
well, after the feedback we got from the first show and just from like in this area, we definitely have a face, and that would be the man born and bred for combat, Stu Grayson.
Okay.
Because after our October show, like people I'd run into in the grocery store, everywhere I go, it was one name that kept coming up. It was Stu Grayson, and like it was his merchandise was flying off the shelves, and it was a sight to see, and you know, he's got a tough opponent in Mark Wheeler on our February show, and if he runs through Mark Wheeler and the fans are just going crazy, well, there's the face of Seaway Valley Wrestling right there.
All right, fair enough. That's a good face to have. Stu Grayson is incredible talent.
He's absolutely, and he's a class act. He's, you know, I couldn't ask for a better guy, and you know, it's nice to see when people's merch and like everything's going, like fans are just buying into it. You know what I mean? They love Stu Grayson.
And I know he's wrestled Evil Uno on your show, and he's wrestling him at C4. They always have tremendous. I've never seen a bad Evil Uno match, but they always have tremendous matches. And as a tag team, they're fantastic as well. So yeah, that would be a fantastic face. Stu Grayson would be a terrific inaugural champion if should he win the title, of course. But Stu Grayson is definitely could be a top guy for your promotion. So how big are you hoping for Seaway Valley to get? Do you see yourself expanding like to Toronto and maybe even Windsor? Because all we have here is Border City Wrestling once every 3 or 4 months. Could that eventually take place, an expansion?
Hey, like we're not going to say never, but we definitely we do have a big vision for Seaway Valley Wrestling right now. We just want to. Our main focus was to take back Cornwall and regain everybody's trust, and we seem to be doing that right now. And especially after our February show, then how do they not fall in love with what they're going to see in front of them? Canada's best talent, and that'll, our goal. If we could get that cult like following in Cornwall, and we know that we can grasp. If we could regain the trust of Cornwall, then why can't we expand and bring our product to another town and city and show them that, we can put on the shows with the best talent this country's got to offer?
Well, I mean, just by reading, I know I'm praising the show because the show that's coming up is just tremendous, but just by reading the card and reading the matches that are on there, you gotta fall in love with it. There's no, like I said, if I was living up there, if I was still in Toronto, there was no way that I would miss that. I would have had my ticket the first day it came out, and I would have been there. Unfortunately, I'm in Windsor now, so I'm like, I can't get there, but I'm gonna get to one of your shows, man. I promise you that, man.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna come out there. I'm gonna shake your hand. I'm gonna say thank you for Seaway Valley Wrestling. It's a great promotion.
Awesome.
So, I want to ask you, Impact Wrestling, they're doing a lot of joint shows with a lot of promotions. Is that something you would consider, like a live Twitch Impact Wrestling, Seaway Valley Wrestling show?
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Like we are not in it to be selfish. Like if we don't mind co-promoting with the Impact Wrestling and whatnot. Like we on our first show, we let the Big Time Pro Wrestling belt be put on the line. Now on our second show, our friends over at Orleans Wrestling Alliance, we're putting their belt on the line on our show. We don't mind. Like that's the one thing we want to help with the pro wrestling scene is like we can band together, and if we all band together, we could put on one hell of a product together.
Yeah, so if say Impact Wrestling, say Don Callis or Scott Demore give you a call and they're like, all right, we're sending some guys over there, and John Morrison, Johnny Impact is gonna put the title on the line. Who and you could pick whoever you want to be his opponent. Who would Johnny Impact's opponent be for the Impact title?
Brian Cage.
Brian Cage. There you go, Brian.
The Machine. And if you ask me right now, the Machine should have that belt.
He'll get it. He'll have it. He'll have it soon enough. I'd say in about 2 or 3 months, Brian Cage will be the champion. They're putting out some quality stuff. I really like what Callis and Demore is doing right now with him.
I absolutely love Impact Wrestling, and it's been incredible to the point where I've been more in tune with Impact Wrestling than the WWE product, and I haven't. And it's been a long time since I can say that.
Okay.
And the product that this country puts out, and I tell people, you can go out and spend $150 for your WWE ticket or whatnot. You're going to see the big names. You're going to see it. What you spend to go to a show like a Greek Town, Smash Wrestling,
yep.
Seaway Valley, C4, and you're going to get $200 worth of a product. You know what I mean by that?
Absolutely.
It's absolutely incredible and mind-blowing, the talent we have.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I'm going to PWA next week. I'd rather spend $30 on a front row VIP ticket than spend $150 to go see WWE.
And I'm telling you, and you're gonna in the show. The Josh Alexander in your face is worth $150, but you're only paying $30 to see the best.
Absolutely. And also Kobe Durst is on the card, Joey Allen. So it's going to be a great show. I'm really looking forward to it. But before we wrap this up, anything else you want to plug? Do you have, Seaway Valley Wrestling t-shirts or something? Or do you want to do a last plug for the February 9th show? I'll leave it up to you. Go for it.
Geez, February 9th, we got one hell of a stacked card. It's going to be a show, hopefully, that, where Cornwall re-embraces us and we're put back on the pro wrestling map in this country. We got a follow-up show April 20th. We are working on something right now that is absolutely super huge. That'll definitely get people talking, and it'll definitely get people like yourself from 8 hours away really to contemplate coming down the Cornwall on April 20th.
All right, man. Like I said many times during this conversation, expect me to be there in 2019. Yeah, you have my word on
awesome.
that. You have my word
awesome.
on that. Well, this has been Tapped Out Interviews. I'm Louis Carlin. Again, I want to thank my host. I'm the host. See, I'm a little tired right now because I didn't get much sleep. I'm the host. I want to thank my guest. I'm sorry. I want to thank my guest, the owner and commissioner of Seaway Valley Wrestling, Allaire. Thank you very much for joining me today. And man, anytime you want to come back.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Anytime you want to come back and promote anything, all you gotta do is send me a Facebook message and you can come back anytime, man.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure. It's been fantastic. And, I'm telling you, Seaway Valley Wrestling is gonna be amazing in 2019. This is our year.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So again, thank you for listening in today. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care and bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.